Hello and welcome. This is Achan Toto, and this is Logos College Online Learning. Today, I want to continue more on our presentation about how to change words into visuals. You remember that we talked about three types of visuals: graphs, pictures, and charts, and why visuals are important. You want your audience to stay interested, helps you convey your message to the audience, and how and how do we convert words into visuals? We want appropriate visuals. We want the correct type of graph, chart, or picture. We want it to be effective. So we want these visuals to work. And KISS. We want to keep it short and simple. All right. So the first video, I talked about graphs, and graphs are very important. They're useful to show how Y is affected by X. X is down here, Y is up and down, X is your left and right axis. And the problem with this slide over here was that it's hard to see a trend, to visualize a trend. But if we use a vertical bar graph, it's so much easier to show our idea that the popularity of the Green Machine is rising, it's increasing as the months go by. So this vertical bar graph, this visual, it conveys our message more clear. It allows the audience to see the trend as the months go by, the popularity increases. So here's another vertical bar graph, and this is a population of the world. And the y-axis shows the number of people in billions, and the x-axis shows population in years and the continents. And here you can see that with this vertical bar graph, easy to see a trend that the world's population is increasing. No matter what continent you're on, the world's population is increasing. So this shows a trend. All right. Next type of graph I'm talking about, the horizontal bar graph. So this goes side to side, and we use this graph to help compare speed, time, or length, distance. It's useful when you have many things to compare to one variable. Okay, so in this graph right here, your one variable is speed, printing speed. And now you're comparing 5 types of printers to one variable, for speed. Their speed on printing black and white, and their speed on printing color also. So this is very useful for many, when you compare many things, many items to one variable. It could be speed, it could be temperature, it could be popularity. All right. Here, this horizontal bar graph, the variable is number of visitors, right? The number, how many people came to, I'm guessing, a park in January, February, March. So this helps the audience see that February had the most number of visitors out of 3 months. Next type of graph. Okay, so this one is very popular. A lot of people like to use the pie graph, and it's very useful. It can compare percentages. It's useful to show sections of population and sample size. It's useful to answer the question how many, right? What percentage of people, what percentage of students, what percentage of anything, right? So when you want to compare percentages, population size, sample size, pie graphs are very useful. Here's an example of a pie graph. So this shows the sales share among top mobile vendors in the third quarter of 2010. And I'm sure this has changed a lot since then. But here you can see that the pie graph has the brand of cell phone, mobile phone, and it shows the percentages. And these sections, these little sections of the pie graph help the audience see that Apple has a big percentage, Nokia and Samsung also have a big percentage of sales in the third quarter. Right. So this chart on the left, the problem is that he chose the wrong kind of chart to show percentage. So this is where it's important that we choose the correct graph to show the information that we want to give to the audience. Here he chose a vertical bar graph to show percentage, which is wrong. The best way to show percentages is to use a pie graph. So look at this on the left compared to the pie graph on the right. Here the audience can easily show, the audience the percentages here, that you can see that Model H has the largest percentage of market share compared to here. This guy is trying to sell the audience the green machine. He wants to sell his automobile that it's environmentally friendly. It helps the environment because it doesn't use as much oil and gas. So when you want to show percentages, this pie graph is much more useful and much better to use than a vertical bar graph. Right. Let's go on to the next one I'll talk about. So this is a line graph. And lines, you can see this blue line, and there's a red line, and the yellow line. So line graphs are good to show trends over time. Right, see the time here is from January to June. And it's also useful to show an increase, a decrease, or changes in something over a period of time. Here, the sales by month. For the blue line, it shows the blue product has from January to June. The sales have pretty much gone up from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. And notice the sales of the yellow product have gone down from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1 from January to June. But this line graph is also useful to show student attendance, students' GPA, talk about finance when you're doing budgeting, how much money you spend per month. If you're an accountant, you'll talk about how much money a company spends per month, their budget, right? This line graph shows the sales of 3 types of cars. The green line is a Chevrolet Camaro. The blue is a Ford Mustang. The red is a Dodge Challenger. And it shows the sales, the monthly U.S. sales in the United States from April to July 2011. April 2009 to July 2011. So here it's clear to see that the sales of these cars per month using a line graph as to if it was all in a chart like this right here. So here the problem is that there's a confusing table of numbers in a graph, right? And then we change it into a line graph, and it's so much easier to see that here the attendance of North Park has gone up significantly from April to October, whereas East Park has kind of just stayed the same. So something must have happened right here between April and July. So the audience can see that, okay, so something special must have happened here from April to July for North Park attendance to grow up that much. Okay, so that's it for graphs. What I'm going to do is end it right there. The next video, we're going to talk about pictures, and we're going to talk about charts. And then we're also going to start using Google Sheets and Google Diagrams to help change a confusing table of numbers into a nice graph. Okay, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.